Hey guys, Lovely Freeman here. Today we're playing some more Hearts of Iron 4 Kaiserreich mod. So we're just, it looks like we're getting close to go time here against the Pact of Cairo. And, Farouk's friends, so, we'll see what happens there. Cyrenaica just split off from us and joined Egypt. Dicks. So we got this event here. Committee for Judicial Reform. The civil code we have used since the Tanzimat era, or the Masel Code, was first codified in 1877. Based on the Islamic Hanafi legal tradition, the code was for the first enforcement of unified law over all Ottoman citizens who previously, according to the millet system, used their own codes. For decades, this code has remained mostly unchanged and is, in the eyes of many, still an ancient relic of a bygone era. As it is based on Islamic law, many of the reformists have protested against it, and they feel that religious law has no place in our modern secular state. Christian and Jewish citizens who previously had used their own legal system remain discontent with it as well, and have urged the government to reform, if not outright replace the dated code. Mustafa Kemal, who is likewise averse to its non-secular character, has thus opened a debate into exploration of legal reform and formed the committee tasked with investigating possible judicial reform. Consisting of ulama, administrative personnel, and Ottoman representatives from all millets, the committee will hopefully find a solution agreeable by all parties involved and shall present their findings as soon as possible. Another step for the reformists. We'll replace the penal code. We got decisions available. Combat Senussi influence. Okay. We lose 10% popularity though. I think maybe that's not great. I don't want to hurt our political power gain too much. Let's not take that one. So I think I'll wait till after the war to start doing all the all of these decisions to do stuff. If possible. Basis of the Reformed Code. As the Sublime Committee for Judicial Reform is making progress in sifting through the 1851 articles of the Masel Code, the majority of the reformists in the committee have suggested looking towards the West for inspiration. Multiple different codes are being discussed as a baseline, although an overall tendency towards the Swiss Civil Code, both for its modernity and relatively easy application to the empire, seems to be prevailing. Others have pointed to the Austrian Empire, whose legacy as a multi-ethnic, multi-religious empire is eerily similar to our own. A small core of hardline ulama, however, have urged the committee members not to abandon the proud traditions of the Sharia Code and have suggested reform of the Masal instead of a complete rewrite. Let's just go with the Swiss Code, I guess. We got high resistance somewhere. Yeah, I got resistance over here, and like you're still rooting out resistance over here, right? Yep. Women's rights. Under the Masel Code, the status of women and men in our empire remains a vastly different affair. Both the women's share in the inheritance and the weight of the women's testimony in courts is half of that of the men. Subsequently, women are also barred from exercising all professions, which have given rise to a sizable emancipation movement clamoring for change, as women during the Weltkrieg were forced to take up a wide variety of professions and bonded together in small movements to out their nonviolent protests against the government. Education as well, promoted by late Vadetin, has allowed women to involve themselves deeper into both politics and kindled in many a desire to perform a variety of strictly male professions. Polygamy and the vagueness of marital law are also up for reform, as they are not only seen as relics from the past, but an obstruction to future reforms. Legal marriage as well, now a voluntary action, should be made compulsory according to the Committee for all Ottoman citizens no matter their religion or ethnicity. Approved. I guess we were trying to be authoritarian Democrats, so our stability is like right in the shitter though. Like, yep, that's the way she goes. We will install the single-party dictatorship, hopefully. Yes. Status of the Aliyeh-e-Eminiyet Hizmeti. The intelligence apparatus of the state has been in disarray ever since the fall of the CUP and the rogue adventures of Enver Pasha, taking with him a sizable portion of the Teskalati Mashusa special organization, whose aim was to instigate Muslim revolts against the imperialist powers and to crack down on dissent in the Middle East. The remainder of the force was reorganized by a raid into Aliyeh-e-Emniyet Hizmeti Exalted Security Service, just after the conclusion of the Weltkrieg. A lack of experienced manpower and questionable allegiances of many of its members, however, greatly hindered its performance, and the effectiveness of the force has been abysmal for over a decade now. To modernize the corps and make it an effective tool to keep our Arab provinces in check, the Grand Vizier has ordained its complete dismantlement and replacement by a new entity, the Milli Eminiyet Hizmeti, National Security Service. Several close friends and associates of the Grand Vizier, however, urged him not to take such drastic steps, as rumors of a secret organization aligned to the former CUP within the force have thus far not been quelled, and some fear that they should feel the temperature under their feet rising. They may lash out and tear down all that we have built. Let's get that extra operative slot. Yes. 100 oh, that sucks. That's the same as like taking that decision. This gives us an extra 30%. Or, wait a minute, I don't remember seeing that decision to get head of intelligence. So I guess, yeah, because it should be like with the political actions, which we're all missing. So I guess if we don't do this, we don't get that. That sucks because they want to go up to early mode. We have a lot of resistance. Like, let's just go ahead and do that, and we'll bite the bullet for it. I mean, at least we can do it without having to, like, at least we can go negative with the event, I suppose. Like, that's nice. Have we join up with these guys? So we can't do that yet. Can't do that yet. Got mining. Get some engineers. Military factory. Let's go for these civilians over here. Fifth Azuli Fengtian War. Sheikh Mahmoud Bar Zinji in talks with Iran. Leader of two failed attempts in Sulaymaniyah to carve out a Kurdish kingdom, the infamous Sheikh Mahmoud has been seen in contact once again with representatives of the Iranian government, according to our spies. Prominent Qadiri, the Sheikh, and other Kurds to thank for most of his failures, as their unwillingness to subordinate themselves to the Sheikh would be their downfall. Ottoman officials in Iraq were quick to exploit their differences, and by utilizing Kurdish forces opposed to him, such as the powerful Jaf, he was forced to flee across the border to Iran. Attempts by the Iranian government to supply his troops and to send them back into Sulaymaniyah to cause havoc on the Ottoman periphery became less and less successful, as even his closest supporters started to believe the window had closed. Furthermore, the Turks have countered the subterfuge with Kurdish pawns of their own. Simki the Kurd, famous warlord of Iranian Kurdistan and feared by many an Assyrian for his excessive cruelty near Lake Urmia during the closing stages of the Weltkrieg, has found his benefactor in the Ottoman government, sometimes even going so far as fighting under a Turkish flag. This warlord has caused great havoc and even successfully defeated the Iranian army. Nonetheless, reinforcements from the Tehran would ultimately prove his demise, as he was just like his colleague further south driven across the border. This back-and-forth game between the two powers came to an end in 1927 when the administration of Mustafa Kemal and the Iranian Shah concluded the Sadabad Pact. Both sides would from now on stop fostering Kurdish dissent on the other side of the border, as the danger of awakening Kurdish nationalism was regarded as detrimental to the interests of both sides. A few low-level troublemakers were exchanged in a symbolic gesture, whilst both sides also confirmed the 1913 Ottoman-Iranian border. What game are the Iranians playing, and will I ever have political power? Sulaymaniyah declares its independence, declared by the recently returned Sheikh Mahmoud Barzinji, the city of Slimania and the surrounding territories, sought to break with the Ottoman Empire and use the ruling chaos in the Mashriq to carve out a state of their own. This decision comes as a bit of a surprise for his former ally in Iran, who intended for him to destabilize support, but not to declare a Kurdish state. Fearing support for their own Kurdish population for his cause, it remains currently unclear whether Iran will turn their guns on him before the situation can further deteriorate. Damn Barzinji. Alright, so we're going to be at war here in a minute. Oh, conveniently, we already had troops, like, right over there. Convenient. I don't know, I mean, I guess. I mean, this is where I would normally set my army up anyways, so. Alright, so we got the transport ship, so that's nice. We'll be able to do naval invasions now. Tunisia has capitulated. We're actually over our division cap right now. That's IO. See if we'll like actually end that guy. We shouldn't have a problem. Alright, it's like, I don't know, these like little revolts here have been, you know, either... They seem to be a bit annoying, but like they're not, like, I don't know, I mean, they don't seem to like actually be doing much of anything, we're just kind of failing miserably. Let's maybe actually use a front, well, no, let's stay with the fallback line. Unrest in Benghazi. Okay. Serving as the only Ottoman base in Cyrenaica, a new wave of unrest has washed over the town with the departure of the Senussi administration from Ajadbadia to Gir Abab. No doubt caused by agents of the Senussi sect, they have succeeded in causing severe damage to the Ottoman standing amongst the local population. Many of the city's non-Muslim citizens are demanding more and more decisive action from the garrison in the city as they fear the departure of Ottoman rule from the region would have severe consequences on their economic fortunes and even their lives should it come down to blows between the two sides. The Jewish community is especially at risk, even in Benghazi the effects of the Palestinian issue start to weigh in. It's worrying. So should we try and hold Benghazi? This is a hills tile. Like we could like throw some forts on there. same as Tripoli, and like try and like hold on to some bases over here so we don't actually have to do naval invasions. But I'm worried about stretching myself a bit too thin. I think holding them here is like more important so that Egypt can't just send troops over and link up with the Saudis. Completion of the Cut Barrage to maintain a high enough water level in the Tigris to sustain the Garaf irrigation canal around the city of Cut. Construction was started by an Ottoman Assyrian company in 1931 on a barrage. Shouldn't that say, okay, barrage, okay. Works were temporarily halted in early 1936 as a major flood in the Tigris River flooded the construction site, which delayed the works for another 6 months. Construction of the barrage was carried out by 2,500 Arab and Assyrian workers, involved the removal of 1,223,288 cubic meters of ground, whilst the barrage itself, 191,139 cubic meters of concrete was used. Splendid. Okay. So this gives us oil, fuel silo construction speed, and off-map civvy. So we get a bunch of free fuel silos and stuff like that. Like, I don't know if you really need that. Get some infrastructure, naval dockyards, and naval bases. Can't do that. Can't do that. Ottoman Naval Project. So you can sell off Bosphor concessions, get a naval dockyard and 2 naval bases, or we can get a civilian factory in this company over here. Let's get that military factory, I guess. Congress of Haifa opens its doors. As violence continues to escalate across the region, the various signatories of the Jerusalem Accords have agreed to meet in Haifa to decide the future of the MOJ. The Ottomans quickly demanded the immediate reunification with Constantinier, pointing out that the current chaos is fully to blame on those that took it away from the port in 1920. Egypt is openly calling for its attachment to Egypt, claiming that the Arabs should be united in the Ottoman actions during Walkyrie are what led to its creation in the first place. The committee sent out to investigate the sustainability of continued operations and has also returned with a negative answer, prescribing its reunification to the Ottoman Empire, but with an internal panel ensuring the safety of the Jewish people. Let's hope a solution can be found. Chaos amidst the Jaf. The Kurdish tribal confederation of the Jaf, one of the most prominent in Iraqi Kurdistan, has been shaken up earlier this week following the murder of their chief. Fighting on the side of the Ottoman army during the first revolt of Sheikh Mahmud, many have been quick to point fingers across the Iranian border where the exiled chief has seemingly been building up his strength for return to power. The assassination has caused the disaffected members of the Confederation to break with the central policy and prop up their own successor whose vision on cooperation with the Ottoman regime is far less secure. Disturbing. Oh, we got resistance everywhere. So it looks like this is the same as like this thing over here, sort of. Yeah, it's the same thing. In response to the issues in Palestine, the signatories of the Jerusalem Accords have voted in favor of its abolition and the reintegration into the Ottoman Empire. Proposals to return the Sinai to Egypt were vetoed by our representatives to great annoyance of both Cairo and the other powers, which ultimately conceded to putting it under joint control by both nations, something these two have already denounced. Whether or not this solves the Palestine issue remains to be seen, but what is for certain is that conflict between the Ottomans and Egypt is only starting. With the last paperwork still left to be done and orderly transfer of authority from the gendarmerie to the Ottoman army being organized, the MOJ will continue to function for a week longer, although it will no longer have the power to decide on internal matters, now a strictly Ottoman affair. A wise decision. Cool, we get some stability there. That's nice. Rising dissent in Iraqi Kurdistan. The general feeling of nearing a war in the air, stability has taken a nosedive in the region of Sulaymaniyah. Raids by two powerful tribes, the Horami and Hamavand, allies of Sheikh Mahmud during the revolt, have become so unbearable that merchants and the other urban citizens have been forced to leave for Kirkuk and Mosul, where protection from the local confederations and the Ottoman gendarmerie is granting them a much-needed respite. Protests against slow response of the government have also seen an uptick in the region as many Kurds start losing faith in the military to prevent them from harm. Nonetheless, the army has sent a detachment of 3,000 men and an air squadron to the territory of troublesome tribes to put an end to their disturbance. The Iranian government was quick to respond that the scale of these troop movements so close to their border can only be a sign that the Turks are planning to invade Iranian Kurdistan and drive out the Kurds currently living there. Another waste of brave Turkish soldiers. Well, Egypt invades Sinai. In response to our actions in Palestine, the Egyptian army has invaded the Sinai Peninsula, hoping to pressure us into returning it to them. Those bastards. So what the fuck is this? They just get Sinai while it's demilitarized and we never get the chance to choke them? In response to our actions in Palestine, the Egyptian army has invaded the Sinai Peninsula. With Egyptian aims clearly greater than just the strip of desert, it may be wiser, however, to make an example out of them and put them down before other nations start sensing weakness. I think that is what we will be doing. I'm just going to get our tanks over there first and our planes. And I also had some guys over here, right? Yeah, we'll put you guys in a different army before, so I don't fuck up and move these guys accidentally. That, of course, would be very bad. Let's be quick about this. Nope. Established in 1913 after almost 100 years of negotiations, the Shah al-Arab Protocols were the crowning achievement of the resolution that ended the Iranian-Ottoman border conflicts. With this last guarantee of Iranian neutrality in the East gone, it is without a doubt now clear that Iran will entertain its ambitions to strike on Iraq. Fighting between two great powers commenced in early hours as an air bombardment of Fao Fortress in the Shah al-Arab was followed by small incursions of Iranian cavalry regiments into the Sulaymaniyah. Or it is then. Shit, I should have read that event. War in the desert. Arab nationalism and Turkish imperialism have finally found themselves at odds as talks over the Sinai-Palestine issue have collapsed after Egypt marched its army through the Sinai Desert. Nominally united until 1914, the two leading powers in the Middle East are now set in a course to decide the destiny of the Middle East. Even as Egyptians can count on an array of allies in the other Arab states, many fear that it won't be enough, and as military and economic capacity of the Turkish Empire for now still vastly outclasses that of its rival. Foreign investors look to the conflict with fear, as well as the oil reservoirs of the Middle East to become more important than ever with the collapse of authority in the United States. What about the oil? Asking the cash money quest. Where is the Egyptian army? Okay, they're. Our finest hour, the moment we feared for years, has finally arrived. Our numerous enemies have bonded together and sallied forth in an effort to liberate the Middle East from our so-called oppression. We will, however, not go gently into the dark night, and will throw everything we have at the invaders to preserve the House of Osman and the empire that may last 1,000 years. To arms! To arms it is. Alright, it's fucking on. What will this do? We get consumer goods, factories, and political power at the cost of unrest. I don't think we need that right now. Radio is probably good tech to have. I maybe should have gotten that earlier. Not sure what I would have cut though. There's no port here. Cool, so I mean, we're in a mountain range. If they want to grind us, I mean, I guess that's fine. We'll do that. Decisions. Need any of those? Uprising in Damascus. With the war with Mashriq, the Damascus have once again shown where their true loyalties lay. As earlier today, Drew's army marched into the capital of the Syria Velayet and successfully overthrew, together with assistance from the local population, the Turkish garrison. All around the city, Turkish shops were destroyed and Turkish citizens attacked as a new revolutionary fervor sprang throughout the Arab inhabitants. By Allah. I have to declare martial law? Can I do that? Need to pass a maintenance of order law. Can I do that now? No. Okay. We don't have anything that's close to 70%. You know what, maybe... I'm not liking this. Let's just go back to our original positions here. Uprising in Damascus, okay. Mustafa Kemal takes up command. Although our Grand Vizier resigned from the army to pursue a career in politics, it's well known that the Pasha never really abandoned the army and always maintained close relations with the armed forces, even personally directing operations in Iraq and eastern Anatolia. Now that the empire once more finds itself entangled in a large-scale war against enemies on all sides, the Vizier has declared in the Ottoman parliament that he will once more take up his position in the army and lead us, like he did in the Well Creek, to final victory. None doubt the strategic genius of the man, but few are quick to point out that this is a direct contradiction to an Ottoman law the Vizier himself signed, which forbids holding both political and military mandate. Furthermore, the health of our Vizier, buckled under severe stress and bad habits, has taken a plunge in recent years and caused various figures in the army to question whether the Vizier can really endure the Spartan lifestyle of the Ottoman army. Guide us to victory, Ghazi. Does that do the, can't pass that yet. Still, what do we get with him? Unyielding defender, skilled staffer, charismatic. I guess we might as well use him. He might be better than this guy over here, but yeah, he's better than that guy over there. Let's get the, let's get defensive. I mean, he's got unyielding defenders, like it makes sense to also have that. Imam Yahya declares his independence, official leader of the central Yemen since his successful revolt against the rule in the 1910s. Imam Yahya has always been an ambitious man who set his sights on southern Yemen and Asir as natural routes of expansion for his Yemeni fief. Though he stayed loyal to the port during the Well Creek, tempted by possible enrichment if they were victorious, it seems to now believes the wind has turned against him and he has refused to answer the call to arms sent by our Sultan Khalif. With the Arab coalition gaining strength, the loss of Aden is yet another blow to the sublime port. Shall be punished for his actions. Well, there we are. Yeah, we got enemies on all sides. Successful raid on Beirut. Flying under the cover of darkness, 20 Bathans successfully bombed the Ottoman fleet and its bases in Beirut. Taken by complete surprise, the Turkish military command did not expect the Egyptian army to possess naval bombers. The damage was severe, nonetheless losses were heavy on the Egyptian side as anti-air emplacements shot down 8 of the planes before they could drop the torpedoes, with the further 7 failing to withdraw. As the morning sun rose over the harbor, the gravity of the raid started to sink in. The former flagship of the Ottoman Navy and pride of the Well Creek, the Yavuz Sultan Selim, received 2 direct hits, and coupled with the damage enduring through the last war, was not able to remain afloat. Fuck. The Sultan Murat and Sultan Osman I also received heavy blows, knocking them out of action for at least 6 months. The attack, which many deemed a certain failure, has instead become a colossal victory for the Egyptians, causing great consternation from the Greek government and sending shockwaves as far as Cyprus. Will avenge your fallen brothers. So that's also bullshit. Well, that sucks. The hits don't stop coming. They don't stop coming, do they? Let's see if we can take Damascus here. There we go. And our planes fucking disappeared because they were in the Damascus airbase, something like that. Fuck! God damn it! That bug is so infuriating. Breakthrough, organization damage. Give yourself some force attack there. What the hell is this? Oh, the tile I guess was in fact connected. Well, that's a pain in the ass. Alright, great. Syria capitulates. Fuck them. Nicosia. I mean, that's fine, I guess. Formation of the Urzet Israel Defense Forces, with their settlements under attack and the entire future of the Zionist project in jeopardy. Various Jewish groups have taken upon themselves to form a militia army and ward off Arab offensives. Heavily outnumbered, outgunned, and even the most diehard Zionists questioning their odds, one of the main leaders, David Ben-Gurion, has approached the Ottoman army in Syria with an offer of cooperation. Although the Ottoman army would normally automatically refuse their offer for support, fearing that it would cause great unrest amongst its Muslim foot soldiers, the ever-escalating crisis in Syria has made the Ottoman High Command seriously reconsider their position. Besides Ottoman doubts about the possible risks involved in cooperating with Zionists, it furthermore remains unclear what power Ben-Gurion really has over his forces, with extremist organizations such as the Irgun unlikely to ever compromise with Ottoman authorities. We will pass. And you can join this army. Move you over here. Should have maybe held Jerusalem. Might have been a smarter plan.
Biri bana takviye eylesin.
I don't think they have bombers, but you know they might. Concentrated industry. Next extraction tech. So it looks like we're holding. Looks like we're holding now. That's wonderful. Pick that up. Should we go for naval bases? Might be smart. I still can't do any of these things. I think maybe we just hold our political power here. We need to we need to change some laws. I think they said 70% resistance was the problem here. Trucial state. It's where are our guys at over here? It's see, secret police gives us minus 30 resistance target. Maybe let's go for military governor in some of these places. Even if we have to pay the rifles for it.
Biri bana takviye eylesin. Anlaşıldı.
Oh, that's a mountain tile. No, let's not do that. This is a mountain, and this is a desert. This is a mountain. So it's unfortunate that we lost that tile.
Anlaşıldı.
I can't move those guys yet.
Evet. Tamamdır. Anlaşıldı.
And island alone. The island of Adakele is an oddity in that it remained an enclave of the Ottoman Empire long after it got pushed away from the Danube frontier, an oddity that seemingly got undone after the Austrian occupation of the island. But de jure, it was still legally domain of the Sultan. However, with the outbreak of hostilities in the Middle East and the Ottomans being preoccupied with the conflict there, the Austrians' withdrawal of troops post-Black Monday, the island stood alone. An Ottoman possession in the middle of the Danube, a relic of ages past, a relic which Romania saw as far more useful in its hands than outside them. Rapidly establishing control of the small islet, Romanian authorities proclaimed that the island is officially part of Romania, however that the local populace's rights shall be respected. It remains to see how Ottoman authorities will react to this transgression. Damn you, bastards.
Anlaşıldı.
Should we hold those mountains?
Anlaşıldı. Tamamdır. Tamamdır. Tamamdır. Anlaşıldı. Anlaşıldı. İntikal vakti. Tamamdır. İntikal ediyoruz. Hayır. Anlaşıldı. Tamamdır.
Fighter, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Oh, shite.
Anlaşıldı. Buradan gidiyoruz. Anlaşıldı. İntikal ediyoruz. Hayır. Anlaşıldı. Evet. İntikal vakti.
Alright, looks like we're still green on everything for logistics. Alright. Yeah, I don't think increasing resistance is a great plan. And that's, Greece, was it? The military governor.
Anlaşıldı. Buradan gidiyoruz. Buradayım. Yardıma ihtiyacım var. Anlaşıldı. Evet. İntikal ediyoruz. Haydi.
Let's do that, and then like if we're gonna push in, you guys can like come over here and help hold the Egyptians off.
İntikal vakti. Buradan gidiyoruz. Anlaşıldı. Anlaşıldı. Evet. Sıhhiyeci lazım. İntikal vakti. Anlaşıldı.
Yes.
Anlaşıldı. Benim yardıma ihtiyacım var. Tamamdır.
Alright, so we got our heavy tank. Which is pretty nice. You know, I guess we can research that gun. Start building the Arslan Mark 1. Yes.
Acilen takviyeye ihtiyacım var. Tamamdır. Anlaşıldı.
Alright, good. So look, we managed to choke off the Egyptians.
Anlaşıldı. Buradan gidiyoruz. Anlaşıldı. Tamamdır. Tamamdır.
Okay, so we got that. Yeah, we just need to start upping some of these laws here. We just need the political power more than anything.
Anlaşıldı. Tamamdır. Tamamdır. Tamamdır. Anlaşıldı. Anlaşıldı. İntikal ediyoruz. Haydi. Anlaşıldı. İntikal ediyoruz.
Deal with these treacherous Arabs. How's our resistance looking? Fine. We're not. I think the pop-up said the resistance was like we need to beat 70%. Like I'm not seeing anything close to 70, so
İntikal ediyoruz. Haydi.
that's pretty sick.
Anlaşıldı.
Pretty baller.
İntikal ediyoruz. Haydi. Anlaşıldı. Anlaşıldı.
Yeah. So these guys they are pressuring us quite a bit here, so we are gonna have to like last stand these guys again. That's fine. No, don't need those forts probably. So the war is going like pretty well in their favor. So that's beautiful. So we have someone or nothing is fallen ill over there. It's like that's unfortunate.
Buradan gidiyoruz. İntikal ediyoruz. Haydi. Anlaşıldı.
Remember to watch this tile over here.
Evet. İntikal vakti. Anlaşıldı. Evet. İntikal vakti.
Let's push for Riyadh.
Buradan gidiyoruz.
General Nuri Pasha's mausoleum. Installed as Second Corps Command in Gallipoli, Nuri Pasha was so saddened by the lack of proper recognition paid to the fallen soldiers there during the Weltkrieg. He sold his houses in Constantinople, spent all his savings, and has ordered the construction of a mausoleum to honor the 16,000 Turkish boys that fell at Zingder. We're to train some more guys here. Or not. Collecting the bones still largely scattered on the fields of battle, has carefully placed them with prayers in a marble shrine. Himself having served as a junior officer during the Weltkrieg on the Gallipoli front, he hopes that with this action their deeds will be immortalized and they will be seen as the martyrs that they truly were. A most noble gesture.
Tamamdır. İntikal ediyoruz. Haydi. Evet. Tamamdır.
We got a Panzer expert who unfortunately has learned defensive traits.
İntikal vakti.
Have him hold here for a bit.
İntikal vakti. Anlaşıldı. Evet.
So those guys will die.
İntikal vakti.
That guy will die.
Tamamdır. Tamamdır. Anlaşıldı.
Yeah, we're running out of support equipment. So like that's well, it is what it is. It is what it is. Missing fighter, I mean that's fine. Running out of manpower. Support equipment. You know what? Let's remove the manpower or the MP from that. Maybe that will fix our support equipment deficit a little bit. So I have one without the engineers. Like these guys are like we have infantry equipment deficits as well. So we're having some issues here. That's okay though, because we just killed Saudi Arabia. So that's great. You guys come over here.
Anlaşıldı.
And deal with the Yemenis. You know, they're actually probably bottled up and they're pretty good. And like if they want to walk into the desert, we can probably kill them. Let's Start making a play here. So we got that. That stuff's still like probably 2 ahead of time. Let's get that upgrade for engineers.
İntikal ediyoruz. Haydi.
We're at 30k versus 237k, so we're doing pretty good here.
Anlaşıldı.
Our subs are still getting some ratings done, it looks like. So that's nice. We'll try and do a naval invasion over here. And if these guys want to, Yemen wants to put out, like, maybe let's just have our tanks go over there. We might be able to encircle some of those guys. $51 in Hijaz. We're okay. Yeah, we probably want to start dealing with some of these. Don't want rebellions in Hijaz. Definitely not. Do I need local troops? I don't know, probably not. You guys take 63 days. Let's Conspiracy against the Grand Vizier. The rebranded Aliyeh-e Emniyet Hizmeti is already proving its value as a complete reform of the institution has seen many of its more unsavory members removed from their function. Angered by their dismissal, rumors have started the service of an organization called the Karakol Society, with amongst its civil members men like Kakara Kamal. Even though for now it seems unlikely that their clique is anything apart from a group of people with a shared grudge against the Grand Vizier and his government, they could potentially prove to be an issue further down the line. Interesting proposals come from the head of the new Milli Emniyet Hizmeti to use their organization to the benefit of the party. By keeping constant pressure on its members and their associates, he hopes to have them lash out prematurely and as such be easy prey for his agents. Furthermore, an idea is also circulated to use the organization to fabricate a domestic crisis and as such grant an opportunity for the Grand Vizier to consolidate his authority over the administration. Let's flush the rats out.
Tamamdır.
See if these Yemenis get some ideas. Maybe they get too big for their britches. Assassination attempt thwarted. I need a drink of water here. My throat's getting pretty dry before I read this. Whispers of a possible plot on the Grand Vizier has started surfacing not so long ago, but a breakthrough occurred in the case last night when one of the conspirators, a refugee from the Greek island of Crete, got cold feet the day before the Grand Vizier was to arrive in Izmir. Informing the police of a possible attack on the Grand Vizier, the Wali of Izmir, and a close friend of Mustafa Kemal, the General Qasim Pasha quickly shot into action and arrested 5 of the conspirators in their hotel room. Handguns, grenades, and even a scimitar were found in the room, and all 5 were promptly detained. Shocked by the attempt on his life and by extension, so he says, the Ottoman state, Mustafa Kemal has already ordered the arrest of dozens of possible co-conspirators, both high and low, in the bureaucracy, including multiple generals, conveniently not those that support him. Without the executive powers to keep them detained, however, and with no way to target parliamentarians protected by the Constitution from persecution, a special think tank within the OHF has been tasked with quickly figuring out a way to try all those who are associated with the plot and grant the powers to the office of Grand Vizier necessary to mop up the remaining conspirators. Round up the conspirators. Ooh, we got that law event, I guess. Ooh, and look at this. Look at this. We get extensive conscription, and we're gonna get early mob. Cash money. Maintenance of the public order law. As a solution to the immunity of sitting representatives and to grant the executive powers necessary to thoroughly remove all possible opposition to the Grand Vizier, the Maintenance of Public Order law was passed in Parliament earlier today, granting the Grand Vizier nigh unlimited power and completely sidelining Parliament for as long as the nation remains in crisis, decided by the Grand Vizier, of course. An opportunity has presented itself to the OHF to effectively eradicate all remaining opposition to their designs. Many desperados, veterans, and former members of the CUP have already disappeared off the grid in fear of getting dragged into complicity concerning the plot, while others have already taken the coward's way out. Khalik Ali Bey, one of the individuals, has reportedly shot himself after gendarmerie broke down the door of his home, whilst others, such as Kara Kamal, have left the capital in a hurry to escape arrest. Members of the HIF aren't spared either, as a wave of arrests targeting them for possible complicity, even though none of them seem to have any solid connection to the plot, is shaking up the capital. Newspapers not following the party line are shut down, military training exercises cancelled, officers temporarily put on leave, and the residents of the Grand Vizier put under a close guard 24/7 as paranoia or as some see it, political opportunism takes a hold of the nation. None shall escape the law. Cool, so we can start decreasing some unrest and getting some stability, I guess. That seems like that might be a smart idea. Tribunals of Progress opened. Dubbed the Tribunals of Progress for the special emergency measures, a number of tribunals have been set up in Constantinople, Izmir, and Bursa to persecute all those possible involved in the recent plot in the Grand Vizier's life. Chaired by Bald Ali, a former lieutenant colonel in the Ottoman army and former CP member himself, the list of men associated with the conspiracy keeps growing by the day as the megalomania and paranoia of the Grand Vizier has reached such levels that a number of his close friends and associates, such as Prince Osman Fouad, Ismet Pasha, and Ali Fouad Pasha, and even Chief of Staff Fevzi Semak, have tried calling the man to reason. Tried with a combination of charges ranging from complicity in the assassination, treason to the state, abandonment of duty, and more, it seems likely that the trials will be solely used as a political play to silence the opposition and to punish those responsible for the plot against the Pasha. Most disturbing. Tribunals of Progress. Okay, so we just have to defeat the Cairo Pact and we'll be looking pretty good here. We got some convoys there. Although evidence of the complicity is scarce for almost all of those brought before the judge, there remains a certain truth to the charges, and many of them harbor sentiments to see the Pasha encounter an early demise, either out of opposition to the OHF, abandonment during closing stages of the Weltkrieg, or because of close association with the former CUP. Only 7 men on the list, however, were able to be caught by the gendarmerie, as many others departed the country shortly after the failed attempt or have gone into hiding in the vast hinterlands of eastern Anatolia. Unfortunately for the tribunal, this also means that those who are picked up by the gendarmerie carry the least guilt, and although some links to a backroom meeting almost 5 years ago were found, the content of said meeting and whether or not this could be associated with the attempt seems muddy at best. We'll persecute only those with solid evidence. Tribunal of Progress, Opposition Leadership. Dubbed the Black Band, or Karaset, a wordplay on the secret organization called the Karakoy Society, Baldly is dragged onto the stage, and many of the powerful figures still remaining of the CUP and its successor parties, often with close ties to the Liberal Entente. Benefiting from the association, however, the elite has proposed to also target a variety of key members in the HIF leadership whose connection to any sort of plot is hard to prove, but who could possibly have accidentally cursed the name of the Pasha in the open. Within the OHF itself, however, it's become increasingly clear that overstepping the boundaries of justice to boost political goals may lead to a split, as various more moderate representatives have started to form a clique around the close friend of Kemal, Ali Fouad Pasha. We'll persecute only those with solid evidence. Like we'll do like a good guy purge, you know, as opposed to like a psychopath purge. Resource gain efficiency. I mean, that wouldn't be awful. Let's maybe keep on going with our doctrine here. That's a long one, but Tribunal of Progress, bureaucracy. Even though the CUP and later the OHF was able to infiltrate all ranks of the Ottoman bureaucracy, many of the higher posts remained inhabited by those close associates of the Sultan. HEF appointed candidates or disloyal CUP members who distanced themselves from its successor party. Now that it seems clear that Kemal is steadily marching towards the establishment of a dictatorship with himself at the helm, an opportunity has presented itself to persecute these people and replace them with men loyal to the Pasha. Both a massive undertaking and one sure to risk the ire of both the Sultan and the Ottoman Parliament. It may be wiser, however, not to act rashly here and wait until the party is entrenched in a stronger way. We'll just persecute only those with solid evidence. Because I probably don't want to switch my rifle over right now. What to get? What to get? I mean, like, extra resources, like, are we going to need that? Probably not. Those are probably, like, a little bit too ahead of time. Like, let's, just get that research boost, I guess. It's probably fine. How many divisions do these guys have? 11 to 46. 5, 9, 13, 17, 21 divisions on the front here. See if we can score some points here against Yemen. Ban on political parties. Using his new executive powers, the Grand Vizier has early today announced a temporary ban on all political parties, bar his own, until the domestic crisis is solved, pointing out that a wide variety of unscrupulous individuals are able to escape justice and the state needs strong cohesion in these difficult times. The Pasha has ordered the closure of both the HIF and all smaller regional parties until further notice. Opposition to this move has already spread throughout the entire nation as protests in Beirut and Izmir against tyranny of the Grand Vizier have been called, and the newspapers of the capital run far above capacity now that they still can present their opinions without persecution. What will the future bring? What will the future bring? Let's get that 100 PP. Big PP. Engineer Company 2 we got. Do you want maintenance maybe? I can get that upgrade. Get actually let's get the zap here. Let's get the anti-air model of our heavy tank.
Buradan gidiyoruz.
Kill that unit. Alright, so we'll see how that naval invasion goes. Alright, so we did kill that unit, that's nice. Let's camp out on Jeddah. Naval repairs completed. After the successful raid on Beirut only 6 months ago, Sultan Osman I and Sultan Murat were forced to undergo large-scale repairs. Sultan Murat was in especially bad shape, and for a time specialists believed we would just like the Yavuz capsize. Working around the clock, both ships have now been restored to combat-ready status. You rule the seas once more. Give it the old first attack try. Replacing the Sharia-based missile, which had been used since the start of the Tanzimat era during the second half of the 19th century. The new Ottoman Civil Code has included substantial differences concerning both the status of women and the influence of religion within Ottoman society, which has already caused significant discontent in the more conservative areas of the empire. Following the rising feminist movement and following the policies concerning coeducation during the 20s, the new civil code now officially recognizes man and women as equals, bans polygamy, and makes legal marriage compulsory. And implements a wide variety of acts concerning personal freedom. A grand day for the empire. Let's go down to 3-speed here, maybe. Where tanks at. So bring those guys back over to here, maybe. Oh, we got more dockyards, huh? Hey, you know what, let's build some submarines. Steal from Germany. We'll abolish the millet system. Get ourselves partial mobilization. When the millet system was founded, according to the national legend, in the 15th century under Sultan Mehmed the Conqueror, the idea behind it was that as Muslim citizens were governed by Islamic law, so should Christian and other religious minorities be governed according to the laws of their own faith. It is unclear whether or not the system was actually in use before the 19th century when Sultan Mahmud II split his non-Muslim subjects up in 3 distinct millets: Greek Orthodox, Armenian, and Jewish. Bowing under international pressure, the empire was forced to cede more and more power to these bodies after the Tanzimat reforms of late 19th century, as the various great powers saw it as a sworn duty to protect the various minority groups of the empire. As the millet system allowed for a plethora of special powers, such as the collection of tax and the creation of new laws for the community, the citizens of these groups became less Ottoman by the day as Europeans started influencing their day-to-day life more and more, effectively attempting to rip them away from our empire. Pressured by the outside world, we had no choice but to watch as the power of Constantinier over the millets was reduced to practically nil. Efforts by the Young Turks to fight back against the system and to abolish the dreaded capitulations, which allowed European subjects of the empire to be governed according to European law, were only partially successful, as none of the powers was willing to give up its vast influence within their empire. Well, as Europeans, like a bunch of assholes, right? Sticking their nose into other people's affairs where they don't belong. A bunch of douchebags. The end of the Weltkrieg, however, brought a glimmer of hope for the reformists of the empire, as with the blood of hundreds of thousands of Turkish sons, the dreaded capitulations were finally abolished, as such ushering in a new era of reform for the eternal state. The millet system has survived regardless, though, and as indecisive politics in the Ottoman parliament and the need of both coalitions to attract the Christian and Jewish vote have thus far thwarted any attempt to reform. Interesting. So Persia's starting to grind into us now. I mean, that's okay if they want to do that. See if we can circle these guys over here. We have room for tanks to get in. Maybe we should have tried to invade Port Said and like coming around this way. Not sure if that would be guarded or not, though. So we're at 35k to, so we're almost 10 to 1 KDR against these guys. Ooh, 82% in Hijaz. Hijaz is already ourselves, maybe even martial law at Hijaz. Resistance target 98%. Oof. We declare martial law here. Remember these buttons. before we get another revolt. It should be pretty frustrating. Let's kill these Egyptian troops here. There is some ports on Suez though. It's like we could try for a naval invasion from here to here. That'd be a pretty big meme, but you know, if we can do it, that would be hilarious. We just come down over here and knock these guys off of this desert tile. And these guys will all be encircled. Separatist insurrection. Alright, so resistance target is 4, so like this should be dropping, hopefully. So you commence when ready. Abolition of the millet system. After the departure of the capitulations in 1914 and the education reform abolishing the minority colleges earlier during this legislation, the power has already been severely reduced. With Russian, British, and French destruction after the end of the Weltkrieg, an end has also come to their meddling in the affairs of the millets, who, without a powerful patron, have seen their power greatly reduced as the sole trading power in the Ottoman Empire. However, as special taxes remained, and with a growing Muslim bourgeoisie, discrimination against the non-Muslim millets has seen a steady growth over the last few years, which the government now wishes to answer. Working together with the various authorities within these structures, an agreement was reached today to abolish the old system in return for complete equality for the law for all citizens of the Ottoman Empire under secularist protective mantle. We are all Ottomans. So we lost 10 stability, we gained 10 stability, okay. Get Turkish Language Committee. Pin some guys there. Gotta make sure we land at Port Said there. Get the actual cutoff. I think we'll be faster by sea than these guys will be by land, though. Hopefully. Excellent. Excellent. These guys here in this peninsula are about to have a very bad day. Gotta worry about these rats in this desert here, though. I might have to send the tanks over to start. But we'll finish off these guys first. So now they are out of supply. I mean, let's we're not training any units anyways right now, so let's I guess we can upgrade our rifle. You know, these attacks are like a little bit pointless. Like we can just scoop up over here. We'll let these guys wear themselves out. Seeing themselves as the defenders of the Maronite Christian population of Mount Lebanon and Catholics throughout the empire, the French government in Algeria has protested against the abolition of the millet system, claiming that it is a direct attack on the interests of all Christians in the realm. Many French industrialists and traders still in Levant fear that this move is explicitly targeted at them and fear that their interests in Mount Lebanon may be compromised for good now unless the French government interferes. They are in no position to challenge us. Yeah. Yeah, stay in their Algiers cuck shed over there. There's Well Creek 2, Electric Boogaloo. Cairo's open. That's nice. I'll take free Cairo. Look at these silly Egyptians. Well, you know what? They wanted Sinai so much, and now they have Sinai, right? Good for them. Let's make sure they don't get that report. Move this guy over here. That. Let's be careful. We can kill that unit there. Oh, there's even a bunker on this tile too that we took. That's tasty. Even though a wide array of languages is used by the citizens of the Ottoman Empire, earlier attempts to centralize the administration and to increase oversight over local affairs pushed Turkish more and more to the forefront, making it compulsory for all willing to work for the government in the military and an entry point for a variety of positions high on the societal ladder. Nonetheless, language has proven to be both hard to teach and hard to implement effectively in a modern society in which telegraph lines play an important role. Consequently, it has become mostly a language for the elite, with little appeal outside of the Empire's core territories. As locals prefer sticking in their own languages and dialects, Arabs, the second largest group in the empire, have been explicitly opposed to its increasing enforcement in a variety of fields and are seeing in it forced Turkification and discrimination. Where previous reformers, including even former Minister of War Enver Pasha, have left off, our Grand Vizier is taking up the task to both reform the education system and the Turkish language itself into what he claims is the only way for the struggling empire to catch up with the West. As the current Turkish language is based on a Perso-Arabic script, the Pasha has, with wide support from the westernizing faction, decided that we should all swap to the Latin script, which is easier to teach. Others, however, fear that this move would be perceived especially poorly in the Mashriq and have proposed a middle way, wherein the old script would be kept but severely streamlined as to make it more approachable for the common man. Seeing in this an opportunity to boost Ottomanism further, they envision it as a metaphorical glue keeping the empire together, and a grand language college is already being planned to invite intellectuals from all sides of the empire to design the language of the future. Let's see Millet, Merca, this thing over here. Yeah, we swapped to Latin script. We'll take the stability hit. You know, our stability can only get so low, right? Right?
Tamamdır. Anlaşıldı. Evet. Anlaşıldı.
Alright, next national focus. Let's do procuring a new constitution. Sublime Committee for a Constitution. Pressured by his government, Sultan Abdülmecid II has officially announced the creation of the Sublime Committee for a Constitution. A vast array of reform proposals has already been submitted to the office of the Grand Vizier, who has not yet announced the head of the committee. Unaware to the public, various internal elements of the party have started to reorganize themselves into two sides. Ali Fuat Pasha, close friend and associate of Kemal, has shown disagreement with the harsh party line and mangled opposition. Supporting this by various other members of the party, they argue against some of the more protectionist elements of Kemal's policy and have shown their discontent with the single-party dictatorship he seems to be pursuing. They are, however, opposed in this by the majority of the party, who have grown disillusioned with the slow and hindered progress of reforms under the fully democratic system. Ishmet Pasha, a rising star within the ranks, has been able to capture the ear of Kemal and has requested the task to be designated to himself to make sure that the entirety of their joint vision is implemented. Of course, we go off dem, of course. I think we got some new guys over here, did we? We still have this guy. Yes, this guy has resistance growth speed minus 10%. That's nice. Yeah, so we did get some different guys. So resistance is dropping. It's coming up over here and stuff, though. Oh, geez. Martial law. Can we even get war economy? Yeah, we could, if we had enough political power. What are you guys doing? You guys need to be reducing resistance. Ottoman Constitution. The Ottoman state Sublime Committee of the Constitution has been working tirelessly to write a new constitution. Parliament has started the process of approving the independent articles and submitting them for ratification by His Majesty the Sultan. Article 1. The Ottoman Empire comprises present territory and possessions and semi-dependent provinces. It forms an indivisible whole from which no patron can be detached under any pretext whatever. Article 2. Constantinople is the capital of the Ottoman Empire. The city possesses no privilege or immunity peculiar to itself over the other towns of the empire. Approved. Political power. Yes.
Anlaşıldı. Tamamdır. İntikal vakti. Tamamdır. Buradan gidiyoruz.
Ottoman Constitution, the Sultan. Article 3. The Ottoman sovereignty, which holds the title of the Supreme Caliph of Islam, belongs to the eldest prince of the House of Osman, in accordance with the rules established ab antiquo. Article 4. His Majesty the Sultan, in his role as Supreme Caliph, is protector of the Muslim religion. He is the sovereign and Padishah of all Ottomans. Article 5. His Majesty the Sultan is irresponsible, his person is sacred. Article 6. The liberties, properties, real and personal, and civil list of the members of the Ottoman dynasty are under the guarantee of all. By God, approved! And I thought reforms was supposed to be like Farouk's thing, wasn't it? Oh, look, these guys have no org too. They're all gonna die. The Kashgar Conference, a small conference of Islamic nations, was put on by the new government of East Turkestan. Though we sent no official diplomatic delegation, a number of our intellectuals attended the event. The conference went smoothly at first, quickly became the focal point of a coup. Our intellectuals were subjected to a gruesome bloodbath and have returned home with great apprehension of the new regime in Hotan, despite its calls for Islamic unity. God is truly the greatest planner. Oof. Oof, that sucks for Farouk, doesn't it? Ooh, yes it does. Ottoman Constitution. Sovereign rights of the Sultan. Article 7. Among the sacred prerogatives of the Sultan are the following: the mention of his name in prayers, the minting of money, the granting of high public offices and titles according to the law ad hoc, the conferring of orders, the selection and appointment of the Grand Vizier, and the Sayhul Islam, the confirmation in their offices of the members of the cabinet formed and proposed by the Grand Vizier, and if need arise, the dismissal and replacement of ministers according to established practice. Approved! You know that you get a lot of political power from that event, Shane. Not bad.
İntikal vakti.
That's risky. So. Ottoman Constitution, basic human rights. Article 10. All subjects of the empire are called Ottomans without distinction, whatever faith they profess. Article 11. Every Ottoman enjoys personal liberty on condition of not interfering with liberty of others. Article 12. Personal liberty is wholly inviolable. No one can suffer punishment under any pretext whatsoever except in cases determined by law and according to the forms prescribed by it. Article 13. All Ottomans are equal in the eyes of the law. They have the same rights and owe the same duties towards their country without prejudice to religion. Article 14. All Ottomans are admitted to public offices according to their fitness, merit, and ability. Approved.
Anlaşıldı. Anlaşıldı.
So we got so like you guys. I guess you can join this green army here. It's probably fine.
Tamamdır.
See if we can go after Tripolitania here.
Evet. Evet. İntikal ediyorsun.
Do
Haydi.
a Jagub there. You guard Suez. And the rest of you guys, let's do get ourselves a little naval invasion over here into let's hit Port Sudan maybe. Yeah, that's fine. Let's actually have another, you guys. We'll try a naval invasion from here, and we'll try and hit. Ottoman Constitution, religion. As Caliph, the Sultan is the head of the Islamic faith and protector of Muslims both within and outside of his realm. His influence also stretches to the various religious organizations, orders, and schools that are deeply entrenched in our nation, which he both protects and funds with resources from the state treasury. This, however, also means that religion is part of every layer of the Ottoman state and is deeply ingrained within the state apparatus. Mustafa Kemal, greatly influenced by the laïcité introduced in the French Revolution, is firmly opposed to keeping the status quo, and he has dictated that the Ottoman state, should it truly be willing to progress, needs to stand at an equal distance of every religion, neither promoting nor condemning any set of religious beliefs. No longer should political campaigns be based on the piety of the candidate in question, but instead on his merits and qualities. State and religion are separate entities. Yep. Some hoe is going to be mad here. Get yourself some martial law in some of these places. Russian expansionism in the Caucasus. As the situation in the Levant remains fragile, our northern flank has started to come under severe threat. The Russian bear, fueled by revanchism towards its former territories in Eastern Europe and the Caucasus, has opened its final offensives trying to break open the Ostwall. Our German alignment, a tool in the previous war, is now more a threat to our survival than a means of defense, and with our nation capable of fighting on all fronts at once, a diplomatic solution must be found. A Russo-Ottoman treaty aimed at delineating the spheres of influence of our great empires must serve as a non-aggression pact, a secret deal between two governments. Whilst it remains unclear whether the Russians will be enticed by such a proposition, the government feels like it is at least worth a shot. I feel like that's bad. Elections of 1939. Despite a lack of parties, which were abolished only a few years ago, there have nonetheless been a real impetus by the political establishment to challenge the ruling OHF power bloc. The OHF, from their end, has abstained from blocking candidates of many moderate former parties to run as the Grand Vizier, has shown his understanding that at least a limited form of democracy is necessary to progress. Nonetheless, the party has taken measures to avoid conservative reactionaries from winning the vote in many of the conservative bastions of our state. Members of the ulama, representatives of the Sufi orders, and local notables with clear religious sympathies have all been stripped from the lists to put a definitive halt to the decay of the Sublime Porte. The OHF stands victorious. Ottoman Constitution, Houses of Parliament. In the Constitution of 1876, Houses of Parliament were established comprising a Parliament, Meclis-i Mebusan, a Senate, Meclis-i Ayan. The Grand Vizier, handpicked by the Sultan, presided over the Houses of Parliament. This practice has thus far been continued up until this day, but has been challenged by the last few years as deputies argue that the head of government should not be handpicked by the Sultan, but rather determined by Parliament, even though this has in practice already been the case since 1926. It should now be solidified. Hardliners in the party, however, have argued that not the people, but the party should decide on the position, since they are the embodiment of the will of the people, and further steps would be redundant. Use stability, PP, or party popularity. The Sultan shall appoint the Grand Vizier. As we keep on doing martial law. Russia proposes a non-aggression pact. As the Russian behemoth marches west, it has now also diverted its gaze to the south, where the squabbling states of the Caucasus could prove to be a weak link in the German chain of protectorates. The German Empire isn't the only one interested in the survival of these states, however, and their own foreign office has been working day and night to ensure that the buffer protecting us from the Russian Empire remains intact. To respond to the nearing crisis in the region, the Russians have extended an olive branch in the form of a 10-year non-aggression pact and definitive settlement of various Russo-Ottoman differences. The stipulations of this treaty, to be hashed out at a conference in Baku, promise to be extensive, as matters ranging from Persia to the Turkish Straits will all need to be answered before peace can be an option. We will consider their offer. Ottoman Constitution, rights to petition. Article 63 of the Constitution states that one or more persons of Ottoman nationality gave the right of presenting petitions in the proper quarter relating to the breaking of law and regulation, and may likewise present in protest signed petitions to the General Ottoman Assembly, complaining of the conduct of state servants or functionaries. While this article by itself seems sufficiently just, several members of the Sublime Committee suggest that minorities should be explicitly allowed to present petitions in local languages, as not stating this would allow a loophole where local governments could arbitrarily decide not to process petitions written in languages other than Turkish. We will allow petitions written in local languages. The Baku Conference, hosted on the shores of the Caspian Sea in the Azeri capital of Baku. Various diplomats and businessmen from both the Ottomans and Russian empires have gathered in top secret to discuss the future of the Caucasus and with it, the world. Although animus on both sides for a peaceful resolution is high, it seems unlikely that an agreement can be found, as the overlapping demands stemming from centuries of Russo-Ottoman conflicts may prove too deep a wound to ever heal. May an agreement be found, I guess? Someone needs to be over here. You still have like a lot of resistance in general. Ottoman Constitution, women's rights. Under the current constitution, only men are allowed to vote and execute public office. Pressure from the Grand Vizier, however, and various other members of the party have now announced their desire to revoke these limitations, opening up voting to both genders. I guess we'll do it. Our country is, I don't know. It looks like they don't have the option for them to spawn units and revolt. So this is just the high resistance is just breaking our shit, and like we're losing garrison manpower and stuff like that, I would imagine. But it's still not that bad. Ottoman Constitution, foreign policy. As a Padishah of the Ottoman people, the Sultan should have the sole authority to wage war and offer peace, command armies on land and sea, and to conclude treaties in general, or so argued the monarchists, who point to the 1876 Constitution, which first enshrined these privileges, but were removed after the CUP coup in 1909. Conservatives within the party have argued that it should not be the Sultan, but the Grand Vizier, who should, as a representative of the people, wield these powers. Their argument has, however, been countered by the Liberals, who point out that the Parliament already represents the will of the people, and as such, matters that concern foreign policy should be solely decided by this organ. The Grand Vizier dictates. The Grand Vizier dictates foreign policy. Russia demands Georgian annexation. Long held by the Russian Empire, the state of Georgia is of vital interest to them and the easiest to crack in the German defenses. Linked up to Azerbaijan through railroads in the Baku-Poti pipeline, furthermore serves as a key station for refueling their troops fighting deep into the Ukraine and a fortification that can threaten our own empire. Outlining their plans for the future occupation of Georgia, the Russians are presenting us not so much a proposition but a statement. Although it seems unlikely that the Georgian government will bow as easily as they may believe, they are nonetheless demanding that we abstain from interfering in their dealings in the region. So they want to occupy Georgia. Huh. I can't go to war with Russia like right now. I need to finish off the Cairo Pact first. Like, I mean, I guess we'll agree to that. Shit.
Anlaşıldı. Buradan gidiyoruz.
Ottoman Constitution, press. The current constitution guarantees the freedom of press, which has... Jeez. Batumi, conquered by the Russian Empire in the 19th century, the important port city of Batumi was regained by the Ottoman Empire within the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk, the city with the surrounding lands. Where's Batumi? Oh, it's over there. Ottoman Empire was one of the greatest victories of the CP during the Wall Creek. With Russia bearing down this once more, however, they decided to incorporate Batumi in the province of Lazistan as part of their claim on Georgia, meaning that we hand over this piece of land in the spirit of open negotiation. A quasi-impossible offer, the Russians are very well aware that they are presenting us with no choice at all if we wish to maintain the trust of our people. The port shall not stand for ridiculous demands. Ottoman Constitution, press. The current constitution guarantees the freedom of the press, which has led to open opposition to the regime freely publishing their opinions in the papers. Although we have in the past hand-waved this whenever necessary, some hardliners from the party have argued the state should have the power to censor and shut down those papers that oppose the regime. The press is free within limits imposed by law. I guess seems to be the best option there.
Anlaşıldı.
Like, I'd be pissed off them getting all these event pop-ups, but like, it is my fault for clicking this Constitution focus when I'm at war. Like, that was probably a bad idea. For now, the Sultan has the sole right to appoint governors to the various provinces of our empire, which has led to a certain degree of favoritism and nepotism, where close ties with the Padishah could lead to a cushy position in one of the richer vilayets of the realm. To resolve this issue, a new proposal has been tabled wherein the party confers these positions amongst those that they deem most suitable. Liberals, however, have pointed out this is just replacing one evil with another, and have forwarded their own proposal wherein governors are appointed through local elections. This proposal has received great support from the Arab world, who see this as a way to more personalized rule and further self-determination. Reorganize a vilayet system focus, and we probably want that, so we'll do that. Ottoman Constitution veto rights. In case of duly provided necessity, the Constitution may be modified in some of its provisions. This modification is subordinated to the following conditions. Every proposal of modification, whether presented by the Minister